There is a second brain inside your body, not a figure of speech, not a poetic way of talking about an instinct. An actual brain with its own vast network of neurons, capable of operating on its own, making decisions without asking your permission, and it's sitting in your gut right now. It has hundreds of millions of nerve cells, more than you'd find in the brain of a small animal. It talks to the brain in your skull constantly, but here's the unsettling part. Most of that conversation flows the wrong way. Your gut isn't mostly listening to your head is mostly listening to your gut, which forces a deeply strange question. When you feel something, when you make a choice, when a mood descends on you for no reason, who's actually in charge? The mind you think of as you, or the second brain in your belly that you've never even noticed? Let's start with the basic, astonishing fact. Lining your digestive system, from your esophagus all the way down, is a sprawling web of neurons called the enteric nervous system. And it is genuinely brain-like. It has roughly the same number of neurons as a cat's brain. It uses the same chemical messengers your head brain uses to think and feel. It can sense its environment, process information, and act, all completely independently. Scientists confirm this in a remarkable way. You can physically sever the main nerve connecting the gut to the brain, and the gut just keeps working. It keeps digesting, keeps coordinating, keeps running its incredibly complex operations, no instructions from headquarters required. It is the only organ system in your body that can function on its own, cut off from the central brain entirely. Every other part of you needs the boss, your gut doesn't. It is its own boss. Why would evolution build a second semi-independent brain down there? The answer is that digestion is fantastically complicated, and micromanaging it from your skull would be a nightmare. Your gut has to sense what you've eaten, decide which chemicals to release, coordinate the muscle contractions that push food along in perfect rhythm, and defend against anything dangerous, all in real time, all without you ever thinking about it. It was more efficient to install a local control center on site than to run every signal up to the head and back. So your body did exactly that. It gave your gut its own mind, and then it mostly left it alone to do its job. But here's where it stops being about digestion and starts being about you, your moods, your feelings, maybe even your decisions. That second brain doesn't stay quietly in its lane. It is in constant communication with the brain in your head, along a superhighway of nerve fibers. And when scientists measured the traffic on that highway, they found something that flips our whole sense of self upside down. The signals don't mostly travel from the head down to the gut, as you'd expect. The overwhelming majority, around 90%, travel the other way, from the gut up to the head. Your gut is sending far more information to your brain than your brain is sending to your gut. It's not receiving orders, it's giving reports, constantly, and your head brain is listening. So what is your gut telling your brain? More than you'd ever guess. Consider this. The vast majority of your body's serotonin, one of the key chemicals involved in regulating mood and feelings of well-being, is not made in your head. It's made in your gut. Let that land for a second. The chemical most associated with happiness and emotional balance is produced mostly in your digestive system. Your gut is, in a very real chemical sense, a mood manufacturing organ. And this is why the language we've used for centuries turns out to be shockingly literal. A gut feeling, a decision that makes you sick to your stomach. Butterflies when you're nervous. We thought these were metaphors. They're not. They're descriptions of real signals, real chemistry, traveling up that nerve highway from your second brain to your first, coloring how you feel about the world before your conscious mind has any idea what's happening. And it goes deeper still, into territory that sounds almost like science fiction. Your gut is not alone down there. It is home to trillions of microorganisms, bacteria, and other tiny life forms, collectively weighing a few pounds, an entire hidden ecosystem living inside you. These are not passive passengers, they are active participants. They produce chemicals. They influence that gut-brain highway. And a growing body of research suggests they may influence your cravings, your mood, and possibly even aspects of your behavior. Think about what that implies. When you feel a sudden craving for sugar, is that you wanting it, or is it a colony of bacteria that thrives on sugar, chemically nudging you to feed them? Scientists are genuinely investigating whether the microbes in your gut can, in effect, manipulate your appetite to serve their own survival. You may not be the only thing making decisions inside your body. You may be part of a negotiation you never agreed to between your conscious mind, your second brain, and trillions of tiny organisms with their own agenda. Now pull all of this together and feel the strangeness of it. You walk around believing you are a single unified self, one mind seated behind your eyes, calling the shots. But that's not quite the picture, is it? You are, more accurately, a collaboration. There's the brain in your head, running your thoughts and your language. There's the brain in your gut, running your body and pumping mood chemistry up into your head. And there's a teeming ecosystem of microbes down there, adding their own chemical votes to the mix. Your feelings, your cravings, maybe even some of your choices may emerge from the interplay between all three, most of it happening far below the surface of your awareness. The confident singular you that you experience is really the spokesperson for a committee you didn't know you were part of. This reframes so much about being human, that inexplicable bad mood on a day when nothing's wrong, it might be starting in your gut. That strong gut instinct about a person or a situation, the one you can't explain but can't shake, it may literally be your second brain processing information your conscious mind hasn't caught up to yet and sending the verdict upward as a feeling. Ancient traditions across the world located the seat of emotion and intuition in the belly, not the head. For a long time, we dismissed that as primitive. It's starting to look like they were onto something we're only now rediscovering with modern science. So the next time you get a gut feeling, don't brush it off as just a saying. Somewhere below your ribs, a second brain with the neural complexity of a small animal is quietly working, sensing, deciding, and speaking to your mind in the language of emotion and instinct. You've been listening to it your whole life without ever knowing it was there. The question worth sitting with is this: how much of what you think of as your own mind is actually being written from the bottom up by a brain you never knew you had? And if the idea that your body contains hidden intelligences fascinates you, wait until you hear how the trillions of microbes inside you may be shaping not just your cravings, but your entire personality. That's the next video. Subscribe so you don't miss it, and thanks for watching.